I packed my gear camera, drone, flashlight, and a notebook and hit the road for HS Horror Story. The drive took me through misty valleys and dense pine forests, far from Seattle's buzz. By dusk, I reached a clearing where the trees parted, revealing a gravel trail that seemed to lead nowhere. The air was thick with cedar and something else, something old. Like whetstone and forgotten secrets dot at the trail's end stood Eldermist. It was unremarkable, a cluster of weathered wooden cabins, a small chapel with a rusty steeple, and an old well at the center. Lanterns glowed in windows, casting a warm, welcoming light. Locals moved about, women in flannel carrying buckets, men chopping wood, kids kicking a soccer ball. It felt like any rural hamlet, but a chill settled in my bones. The villagers didn't notice me. No waves, no nods. It was like I was a ghost. I started recording, narrating for my HS Horror Story audience. Hey, it's Ethan, standing in Eldermist, Washington, the village that supposedly vanishes at dawn. It's real, it's here, but something feels off. I zoomed in on the chapel, its walls etched with faded carvings of vines and strange, looping symbols I couldn't place. A woman at the well glanced at my camera, her eyes sharp, like she knew something I didn't dot as night fell. The village grew quieter. The locals' movements were oddly in sync, like they were following a script. I approached an old guy sitting on a porch, sipping coffee from a tin mug. "Hey, sir," I said, trying to sound casual. "I'm Ethan from HS Horror Story. Can you tell me about Eldermist?" He took a slow sip, staring past me. "You shouldn't be here," he said, his voice gravelly. "Dawn's coming." "What? Happens at dawn?" I pressed dot. He got up, shuffled inside, and shut the door. I turned to the camera, forcing a grin. "Well, HS Horror Story crew, we've got a mystery on our hands. Let's see what else we can uncover." I launched my drone for aerial shots, capturing Eldermist's layout, a perfect circle of cabins around the well, with paths branching out like spokes on a wheel. It was too deliberate, unlike any organic town I'd seen. I narrated this for my subscribers, my unease creeping into my voice. Around midnight, I heard chanting from the chapel. I crept closer, camera in hand, and peered through a cracked window. Inside, villagers stood in a circle, hands raised toward a stone statue. It wasn't a saint or an angel, just a shapeless form, like a shadow carved into rock. Their chants were rhythmic, almost hypnotic, in a language I couldn't identify. I whispered to my camera, "This is wild, HS Horror Story fans." "What are they worshipping?" The chanting stopped abruptly. The villagers turned, their eyes pinning me through the window. My pulse spiked. I stumbled back, clutching my camera, and bolted to the village center. The streets were empty now, the lanterns dimmed. The air felt thick, pressing against my lungs. I checked my watch. 4 a.m., 2 hours until dawn. I set up camp by the well, live streaming for HS Horror Story. Comments flooded in. "Ethan, get out of there. This is creepy as hell. Is this for real?" I reassured them I was fine, but doubt gnawed at me. At 5:30 a.m., the sky began to lighten, and a low hum filled the air like a distant generator. The ground vibrated faintly. I aimed my camera, narrating, "This is it, HS Horror Story fans. Dawn's here. Let's see if the legend holds." The hum grew louder, then stopped. The village didn't vanish. The cabins stood solid, the well glistened. The chapel's steeple gleamed in the morning light. I laughed, relief washing over me. "Looks like the myth's a bust, guys," I told my audience, but then I noticed my shadow. It was too long, too sharp, stretching across the ground like it belonged to someone else. I turned, and Eldermist was gone. Not faded, not blurred gone. Just forest and mist. My camera was still rolling, but the footage showed only trees. I checked my drone. Its memory card was blank. Panic hit hard. I ran down the trail, heart pounding, until I reached my truck stop back in Seattle. I uploaded the few seconds of footage I had left me narrating by the well. My HS horror story subscribers went nuts, some calling it a hoax, others demanding more. I tried returning to Eldermist, but the trail was gone. Locals in nearby towns swore no such village existed. Yet, at night, I hear that hum in my shadow. Still stretches too far. This is Ethan for HS Horror Story, bringing you the real story of Eldermist, the village that vanishes at dawn. Subscribe for more.